Deep in a mile-high desert sits a place that seems almost impossible. To me, the road in felt less like a drive and more like a pilgrimage. Those 21 miles of washboard dirt acting as a humbling price of admission. Because this is sacred land, and it seems to demand a certain level of respect before you arrive. When you finally crest the rim and look down, the scale is almost too much to take in. What moved me most was the vision and perseverance it must have taken. In such a harsh and unforgiving landscape, the Ancestral Puebloans saw something greater, bringing it to life with an extraordinary collective effort. There's a striking paradox here. By choosing to work with the land rather than trying to conquer it, they achieved a level of mastery that I see as a quiet conquest of the unchangeable. We often hear these called roads to nowhere, but standing here I couldn't help wondering if they actually led everywhere. Some stretch arrow straight for miles, 30 feet wide in places, carved with remarkable precision across the desert. When they reach a mesa or cliff, they don't curve. They climb straight up, with stairs cut into the rock, and then continue on the same alignment. To me, their stubborn straightness felt like a statement, a refusal to let the harsh landscape dictate the path. Whether they were for trade, ceremony, or something deeper, they speak of a vision and determination on a scale that still leaves me in awe. Take the great houses themselves. Researchers estimate that over 240,000 trees were used in their construction: ponderosa pine, spruce, and fir. But here's what stopped me. There are no forests in Chaco Canyon. The nearest sources were more than 50 miles away. Every massive beam had to be carried by hand. Like the road in, each tree had its own quiet pilgrimage. What's even more impressive is how they treated the wood. Using ingenious methods to protect against decay, they ensured these beams would last for centuries in a harsh desert climate. It shows more than just technical skill. It's a deep understanding of how to honor the materials the land provided. Many of these logs became the cribbed roofs of the Kivas, masterful engineering that still holds tons of earth and stone overhead after 1,000 years. But the connections outside Chaco reached even farther. I was surprised to learn that during excavations in the 1890s, shards of pottery were found in room 28 of Pueblo Bonito. Researchers found traces of the signature of cacao, theobromine. This literally translates to food of the gods. To think that 1,000 years ago, in this high desert, the ancients were enjoying one of my favorite treats. It's thought that the cacao was imported from the rainforests of Central America over 1,000 miles to the south. They also discovered the remains of scarlet macaws, brilliant birds whose natural home is the tropical rainforest, more than 1,200 miles away. Standing among the tan sandstone, I tried to imagine those flashes of red, yellow, and blue. To me, the vivid red felt like it could have carried the warmth of the sun, and the brilliant blue the promise of rain. A living bridge between the dry desert floor and the life-giving storms. If the roads were the arteries, the great Kivas feel like the lungs of Chaco. Subterranean chambers where people could descend into the cool darkness to breathe together. The acoustics are so precise that a whisper on one side can be heard clearly on the other. In the center of the floor is the sipapu, a small hole symbolizing the place of emergence. To me, these sacred halls were where the community gathered to celebrate the light of the spirit. For roughly 3 centuries, Chaco pulsed with life and purpose. But eventually the pulse slowed. Families began moving away, some toward the shelter of the cliffs at Mesa Verde, others to places like Hovenweep. But eventually they began a final, profound migration farther south. They weren't just leaving, they were taking their history, their stories, and their culture with them, becoming the people of the modern Pueblos we know today. In many Pueblo traditions, movement is a part of life. An adaptation, not an ending. Standing among the ruins, I couldn't help thinking about how uncertain life in this harsh landscape must have felt. Not knowing if the rain would come, if the crops would grow, if life itself would be sustained. In that unpredictability, the steady rising and setting of the sun, and the cycles of the moon, they must have offered something solid to hold on to. It reminded me of my own life, how I once tried to control and order everything just to feel safe, and how much peace has come from learning to look up instead. We may never know the full story of Chaco Canyon, but the alignment remains. The road doesn't end where the dust settles. It waits for the next traveler willing to look up and find their own North Star.